Now, Cage and Miles presents Counsel's Corner.
Today on Counsel's Corner, talking to family law specialists Jamie Cage and Shannon Miles about what happens when a couple who are splitting are self-employed or maybe own their own business. Jamie, let's start with you. What are the particular challenges there?
So we do see this pretty often in our practice. We do see where one or both spouses is a business owner. So that can impact the case pretty dramatically, usually in one of two ways or in both ways. So we look at what is the business worth? So one of the complications is the business may be an asset that has to be divided between the parties. The second area that complicates the case is income available for support.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But Shannon, how do we even establish the value?
So establishing the value of a business is complicated. Typically, it's going to require an expert. And that's because you can't just Kelley Blue Book a business or go on Zillow like you can for a house and kind of get a ballpark of what something's worth. So typically an expert's brought in. That's a very expensive process. And we also have to be considering, is it a community business or was it started prior to marriage but it increased in value during the marriage? That adds another level of complication.
It sure does. And let's go another layer down. What about support? How do you calculate that?
Sure. So we have to figure out what is the income of the business owning spouse. So income available for support. So it's a lot more complicated than looking at a W-2 or looking at a tax return and dividing by 12. What you report to the IRS for your income is different than what the family court might consider income available for support. The family court is going to potentially add back personal expenses that are run through the business. So we're always looking out for that company car or other phone bill, things like that.
Yep, good point. And the other question, of course, is how do you get access to all this information?
Well, the simple answers is that the owner-operator spouse has an absolute obligation to disclose. And if they don't, we have discovery tools and mechanisms that we can use to go after the spouse to obtain the information if they don't want to share it.
The court can get involved at that point and say, no, you got to tell us.
Absolutely.
And you get maybe a third party come in and figure that out. I'm telling you, this really can get very complicated. But no matter how complicated your family law issues might be, Cage and Miles can handle them for you. Now at 2 convenient locations in San Diego County. All you have to do is call 858-943-2060 or go online to cageandmiles.com.